Dave Campbell's Texas Football Instant Reactions presented by Chicken Express. I'm Ishmael Johnson. That's Matt Stepp, and we just crowned our first ever back-to-back DISD state champion. South Oak Cliff does it again, 34-24 over P&G. I mean, atmosphere we knew would be on point. What a swing this game took. Because it looked like early P&G had this game more or less in their palms, and credit to South Oak Cliff's adjustments. Second half was more or less, I won't say all theirs, but like a good chunk of that portion was theirs. The running game was better. William Little started to hit a lot of the deep shots, things like that. They stopped making mistakes, and they just hit big plays when they needed to.
Yeah, there was a point in the second quarter, P&G led 17-5.
Yeah. And
it was looking like it might get away from Sauk. I thought the touchdown right before halftime was just massive for South Oak Cliff. And then P&G decided to go conservative before halftime. A couple of timeouts, they get a first down, they decide to let the clock run out and don't take a shot. South Oak Cliff gets the ball to start the third quarter. They don't get a touchdown, they get a field goal, make it 17-15. And then the safety, I thought that's when the game completely turned.
Two safeties in this game. When's the last time you saw that?
Two safeties, but it was a 29-0 run for South Oak Cliff when it was 17-5 until 1 minute left in the game when P&G kind of got a late touchdown for window dressing there. The middle part of the game was really dominated by South Oak Cliff, and that was the key in this ball game. And I thought their defense really in the second half. I'm not sure what what adjustments were made quite yet. It looked from Marion like the run fits were a lot better. P&G still got some yards because they're good up front. But they weren't popping the big ones. Their secondary was on point, and when P&G threw the ball, bad things happened. You have a lot of pressure on Cole Crippen. He got knocked out of the game, and then Manny Muhammad with the pick six to basically end it for South Oak Cliff.
Yeah, I mean, like you mentioned it, the trenches, P&G controlled both sides early on. South Oak Cliff could not run the ball. This is a South Oak Cliff offense that, William Little, we talked about him, third string to start the year, ends up winning offensive MVP.
What a story that is.
Oh, incredible. But it's been a stop and start offense, right? That when they started with those three tough losses.
It started 0-3.
0-3 to start the year. Tough non-district schedule, but that was kind of the difference people saw early on from last year's team when you had Kevin Henry Jennings back there. It was an offense that really struggled to get going, and we saw that very early. They couldn't run the ball. They couldn't get to the outside. P&G really was able to stack the box, be the more physical team within the hash marks, and it really, really struggled. Then finally, they started to let William Little get to the outside.
They let him cook a little bit.
They let him cook a little bit. He's been turnover prone in the past, but they knew he was kind of the reason why the biggest threat they had with those receivers on the outside. They finally started letting him do it. He splashed a little bit in the first half. Second half got really cooking, and like you mentioned, defensively they were able to shore up themselves, get the run fits better, and I mean that's championship metal, right? They went from charming, awesome underdogs last year to like the swagger of a reigning state champion.
Yeah, and they had the target on their back all year. Everybody knew they were state champs, and they got it done. And I will say the second half, South Oak Cliff ran the ball a lot better. In the second half, they were able, especially in the fourth quarter, to kind of get the running game going and not put so much pressure on Little. So that credit to South Oak Cliff and their coaching staff. They made some adjustments. They stuck with what they didn't get stubborn. They opened it up a little bit. That's not really what they wanted to do coming into the game. That their mentality is to run the football, but they saw matchups on the outside that worked for them, and they got it done. And P&G obviously tough loss, losing Crippen there in the third quarter on the interception when the game was kind of already slipping away. But what a story for those guys. Jeff Joseph in his first year taking them to the state championship game. What a great crowd. They had a ton of people coming up from the Golden Triangle. So
easily.
No one thought they'd be here, so credit to them. They gave South Oak Cliff a great fight. But in the end, like you said, the Golden Bears showed a lot of championship mettle in this game.
We knew it'd be one of the best crowds of the weekend, and it took a little bit for the South Oak Cliff crowd to get there, but P&G came out early. Often they were loud the whole game, and then by halftime or late second quarter, halftime on, it was both sides were going crazy. So that's probably easily the best environment so far this weekend. So we got one more day.
One more day left in the season, Ish.
One more. That's it. We got the big school, the rest of the big schools coming up. So keep it locked to TexasFootball.com, DCTF on Twitter, all of that stuff. We'll be here. We got one more, y'all.